Thank you, Tim. Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. If you'll just bear with me. I'm here to talk to you about high purity manganese, not the manganese you use to make steel, but the specialty suite of chemicals that go into making NMC cathodes. Every one of the vehicles that you see in this slide contains manganese in its battery, except one. I wish I could ask somebody to guess which one doesn't, but since I don't have the interaction, I'll tell you, it's that Tesla vehicle, that red Tesla. But that's about to change real soon, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Our company has been working for 5 years on what is a globally significant project. If the project we have designed were in production today and producing high purity electrolytic manganese metal of a battery grade, we would be the world's largest producer. We also intend to produce manganese sulfate, an extremely high form of it as well. And if that were in production today, we would also be the largest producer in the world. So this is an important project. Nevertheless, by our projections, by 2030, we will only be able to meet about 28% of Europe's demand for these products. The market is growing so fast. And this is by far, the largest manganese deposit on the European continent. And we have a chance to become Europe's only primary producer of these products, just at a time when demand is exploding for these specific products. So we're at the right place at the right time. And there's many other attributes of this project, which I'll elaborate on as quickly as I can, but the major one of which is that this is a tailings deposit. It has already been mined. Right in front of that big power plant that you see, those grassy piles, that's where the tailings are sitting today. And that's what we propose to reprocess and extract the manganese without any of the impacts of hard rock mining, without any of the permitting challenges that come with that, and without generating any new waste. On top of that, we expect that our activities will remediate what is a polluted site and fix a problem that is right now a liability of the Czech state. We are located about 90 kilometers east of Prague in the Czech Republic, right in the middle of Europe, and I'll show you that in the map shortly. I have to show you my cautionary note and my compliance statements, but you all know what those mean. The high purity manganese business is growing very, very rapidly, driven principally by lithium-ion battery and EV markets. Europe is right now the fastest growing EV production, battery production location in the world. It's outstripped, in fact, China in investments. All the European automakers are rapidly pivoting to electric vehicle production, and they need a great deal of battery materials for those automobiles. Producing these high purity manganese products is not easy. We're talking about virtually pharmaceutical grade chemicals here. So this is very much about processing, and not all manganese ores are made equal. And not all high purity manganese products are created equal as well. They can come with very substantial environmental impacts and with costs, the cost of bringing them to those very high purities. Manganese is an important product, and we believe that it will increase in importance because it is the lowest cost of the battery metals that goes into these cathodes. And it offers the opportunity for lowering the cost of batteries, which then can allow, as Elon Musk said in September of last year, the opportunity to bring down the cost of these batteries, bring down the cost of these automobiles, and sell more cars in the process. As a result of our location in the middle of Europe, the fact that we're able to have an unbeatable environmental footprint for this project, we have generated a great deal of customer interest, and we've signed so far 5 MOUs with major global companies, which we expect in time will turn into offtake agreements. We're building very strategic relationships around this project, which we believe is also strategic for Europe. We've designed it to last 25 years, producing about 50,000 tons per annum of manganese contained in two products, one a metal product and the other one a sulfate product. And it's important to note here that today, approximately 93% of the high purity manganese products in the world for lithium-ion batteries are produced in China. And we offer Europe an opportunity to have local production, local primary production, which hasn't been lost on a number of customers. Here's a map I love to show. This is Europe, and this is a map that we keep changing almost monthly, it seems. The ecosystem for electric vehicles, batteries, cathodes, precursors, and a whole bunch of other components is growing at a dramatic pace. Virtually everyone you see on this map needs manganese in some form or another for their batteries. And like I said earlier, we've got a shot at becoming the only primary producer of these products in Europe. We were delighted in September to hear the revelation that Tesla made that they intend to pivot to a high nickel, but also high manganese, 1/3 manganese battery chemistry. This is the first time that Tesla has used manganese in their batteries. And they intend to do it at a scale that is just extraordinary. In fact, they are currently building the world's largest electric vehicle plant and the largest EV battery plant in the world, a mere 415 kilometers from our project site. The European battery scene has got one hell of a shot in the arm in December of last year when Europe announced its new green battery regulations. These principally focused on getting the cleanest, greenest batteries with the best environmental footprint into European-made automobiles and European-made batteries. And the key to that is a strong focus on recycling, a strong focus on disclosure, transparency, verifiable provenance of all the inputs into these batteries, and on labeling, disclosure, with the objective of making sure that only the greenest batteries can be sold in Europe and the dirtiest batteries be shut out of that market. This is all part of a very strong drive to electrify Europe, but to do it in the most sustainable way possible. That was like music to our ears when we heard about that. Especially, I want to remind you that we are recycling waste. We're not mining. And we expect that will play very well into our business plan. The site where we are located, like I said, is about 90 kilometers east of Prague in the Czech Republic. It is blessed with extraordinary infrastructure, rail, highway, gas pipeline, all the water we need, and competitively priced power right on site. We're right at a major crossroads of power lines. Give us one of our important project inputs. That drawing that you see on the right is a preliminary layout of our plant, and it's now rapidly advancing with its definitive feasibility study, which is ongoing as we speak, and we hope to complete later this year. This is a sophisticated country. It is as sophisticated as anything you will see in Western Europe. And we have 19% tax rate. We've been able to get all licenses, permits that we have needed to date. It is, harmonized in its environmental regulations with the rest of the European Union, which is another thing that gives our customers peace of mind. And like I said, this is a strategic industry, and one that not only the Czech government, but the European Union government is highly focused on, as the entire European auto industry, which employs roughly 14 million people right now, pivots to electric vehicle production. Again, I like saying this. This is waste recycling, not mining, and it's helped us a great deal to engage with local communities and government regulators. We filed our preliminary EIA, or Environmental Impact Assessment, in June of last year. We recently announced that we had successfully completed the EIA screening process and that we're allowed to proceed to the final EIA. There were no major adverse comments or anything. In fact, we were really thrilled. No requirements for us to make any changes to our process flow sheet. On we go, advancing now rapidly to getting this project ready for a construction decision. Our plan is pretty straightforward. We have completely drilled off the resource. In fact, we have over 98% of the resource classified as measured under JORC or NI 43-101. Our feasibility study should then bring that into a reserve status. We have no indicated virtually and certainly no inferred resources. The deposit is extremely homogeneous. We've done a great deal, extensive metallurgical test work and engineering, working with some of the most experienced leading minds in the world in high purity manganese production, design, construction of plants. We built a pilot plant in 2018. We confirmed that we can produce products that meet every single customer specification that we're aware of in the world, and consistently at that. The feasibility study, like I said, is proceeding now rapidly. We started in late 2019. And if all goes well, by the end of this year, that will be behind us. And ditto with permitting, our goal is to have the EIA, final EIA, completed later this year with permitting, if all goes well, sometime in 2022. One important thing that we're also doing is building a demonstration plant, which is a 7-time scale up of our 2018 pilot plant. And that is largely focused at delivering very large samples to a multitude of customers for supply chain qualification. That's a very important process that a lot of people take for granted. We're quite advanced on a number of those fronts. And that plant is under construction right now and should be built and delivered on site sometime during the northern summer of this year. And we're targeting production by late 2024. To wrap up, we've put on a great deal of work into this project, uncompromising technical, social, environmental standards. We have a robust project in front of us that's extremely well located. The team in-house is extraordinary, a great deal of experience in project development, finance, operations. And we've surrounded ourselves with some of the best minds in the world. We've really focused hard on getting local community collaboration, and that's paying well. We have good permitting momentum right now. And all things going well here, 2021 should be a very important year for us. I think we're going to have a lot more to say about our progress. And look, I'll cut it at this. I haven't really kept track of time, but I hope I'm within my slot here. I'd love to hear some questions if we still have time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marco. We've got time. A couple of questions. You're kind of talking about the green concept there. Let me see. Where is this question? So the automotive industry is the largest industry in the Czech Republic. What plans are in terms of the government support? What sort of government support are you getting in the development of its own battery in the industry there?
Look, we hope to have a lot more to say about that, but suffice to say that we've been deeply engaged in a number of discussions at the local and at the European level. What we have disclosed so far is that we applied for a tax credit package, an investment incentive package, and we were granted 100 million euros in tax credits. Essentially, it's a double depreciation package, which lowers our tax burden and improves project economics. That's the first one. That was the low-hanging fruit and the maximum that the Czech state could do themselves. Our next focus will be on European Union support.
And your project is a recycling project with no mining, milling or crushing required, unlike other projects in South Africa and Australia. Do you plan to use solar power and kind of market your product as green manganese?
Look, if we were in production today, we would be the greenest producer in the world. Let me just put it that way. And we have opportunities out there that we're pursuing actively to lower our environmental footprint even lower than it already is. We're definitely listening to the customers, listening to governments, listening to a lot of people who really want to see only the greenest products be sold into Europe.
And in terms of the resource, do you need a number of phases of drilling to expand that resource, or can this be kind of achieved in the coming programs?
It's done. There's no more drilling required. We have 98% of our resource classified as measured under JORC. That's more than I've ever seen in over 40-year career for me. This has been the easiest deposit to drill off ever. And look, we got to that level largely because we used a drill for sampling for all our metallurgical test work. We collected huge multi-ton bulk samples using a drill because it was just so easy to do